Greetings once again. We meet to proceed with our learnings. The next topic that we'll be going and working with is going to be about email automation. So let me go and bring us all on board with respect to the feature of email automation. For the same, I will be going and using my Gmail box. So let me just go and take a moment here and open my Gmail. So as you can see, I have been able to log in into my Gmail over here. And what I would like to now do is, first of all, we will try to see, that how our software can connect to a mailbox and read mails from it. And then we will try to, build on this particular demonstration as we go ahead. So in order to be able to do this, in case you are looking at, being able to read your official emails from our software, that too is possible. Our software supports working with different kind of boxes like Exchange and stuff. The only prerequisite is the only requirement is that you should have assigned the permissions to our software so that it can speak through your firewall to your corporate email server, because the same is usually protected by the corporate firewall, and permissions have to be specifically granted so that our software can go through your corporate firewall and speak to your email box. Even in the case of Gmail, something as simple as Gmail, we all know, we've all worked with Gmail and Hotmails and all these free email IDs. Even they require setting the access to less secure. So we have a setting for allowing access to less secure apps. So that has to be enabled in Gmail before Gmail can start speaking to our software. So in my case, I've already gone and done that. So we will proceed to first, like I said, establish a generic connection to my mailbox, try to pick up the mails one by one and bump them off the screen. And then we will try to create a concrete use case out of it. So let's go ahead with the same. So with the same intent in mind, I am going to go inside email automation, and first and foremost is get all messages. So in get all messages, I need to be able to provide my host name and other credentials, as I'm about to now go and give in. So imap.gmail.com, that's my host name. Then I need to give in my username over here. So username is my email ID, and password I should be knowing, and I'll just go and put the same. And there goes my password. Hopefully I would have got it right. Gmail uses secure connection, so I have to check mark this box. Server type is IMAP, so you can have IMAP for reading mails or POP3 for that reason. Port number is 993, that's the port now you want to use. You can choose to pick up all the mails. You can choose to pick up only those mails which have been read. You can choose to pick up those mails which have not been read. So we can, specify which mails you want to read. Further, if you wish to read mails in a particular format, as per your requirement, you can specify that also. So you can see we have the flexibility of choosing HTML format or plain text format. I personally prefer plain text because you got less of HTML tags over there, with due respect to HTML. However, if you wish you're more comfortable with HTML, feel free to go and use the same. Also, while you are iterating over your mailbox, you can specify a folder location where it can keep downloading all the attachments, and later on you can go and refer to them if you wish to do that. So once we have given all these settings, we can go and save this. And let me just bump some values or some variables so that I can ascertain that yes, I've been able to pick up my mails properly. So in message box, I want to go and display a couple of values over here, like email from, who sent the mail, email subject, and email message. Couple of things that I want to bump over here. So email from. So I am going to take my variable email from over here. Next variable that I want is email subject. Subject of my email. So email subject coming in next. And then we also want, last but not the least, email message. Email from, email subject, and email message are three things that we want to just bump up on the screen. Email from, email subject, and email message. Three things that I'm planning to bump on the screen. This is just to ascertain, that our read operation is 100% in perspective, and we have been able to, successfully connect to our mailbox, and we have been able to pick up all the information from there successfully. So coming from that perspective, so email from, email subject, email message, three things that I'm bumping on the screen. I can save this one. I can go and save this one over here. We'll go and give this a name as email automation, and we can go and save it. And further to that, we will just proceed to go and run this, and let's see what happens. So we're going and running it. Line 1 of 4, this is where it tries to connect to the mailbox, and you can see it has picked up the first mail. I'll actually open my mailbox in the back end so that we can quickly cross check. Email from myself, so that's my email ID. Automation, we have finished executing the task, and some message over here. So that's the first mail, in sync. Click on this one. Picks up the next mail, and that is email from Flip HTML5. You can see email subject Flip HTML5 new version, update version, something, some message and content. So as you can see, we have been able to successfully connect to my mailbox. We have been able to pick up mails from it successfully, and we are able to bounce the mails one by one on the screen, and that is a success note for us. We have been able to connect to the mailbox. Now let's make it more complex. For example, let us see if I can pick up only those mails which have some specific keyword in the subject line. So what I will try to do is I will try to pick up only those mails which maybe have the automation keyword and even the subject line. You have automation here, automation here, automation here, automation here, automation here. So I want to pick up now only those mails which have the automation keyword anywhere in the subject line. So we are interested in only picking up those mails. So let's go and try to pick them up. So for that, I am going to go inside if else, and I am going to go and choose variable, because now we have to go and bring in a condition. So I say if else variable. I'm going to drag this if else variable. I'm going to put it over here. Now if else variable, which variable are we talking about? So I click on edit. So the variable which allows me to go and pick up my email subject line is the email subject variable. As you can see, we have just bumped these values off the screen. So email subject is the variable in perspective. So I'm saying if email subject includes some keyword which could be, which should be actually automation. So we are looking at only those mails which have the subject automation in the keyword line. Kindly note the use of the keyword includes. I have used the operator as includes and not equal to. That's the difference. If we say equal to, it will look only for those mails which have automation and automation only in the subject line. But that is not our requirement. Our requirement is that automation can be the only constituent of the subject line, or it can be a part of the subject line, but it should be there. So that is why we have used the keyword includes and not equal to. So that is one thing to note over here, and I'm going to go and save it. So that brings in the condition. I'm going to take this message box and I'm going to drag it and keep it between this if and end if condition. And subsequent to that, I can just go and save it. And let us go and take it for a spin again. And if all goes as per our expected plan of execution, we should now be seeing only those mails which have automation keyword anywhere in the subject line. So that's one mail with automation keyword. Click on it. So only those mails with the automation keyword should be coming on in the subject line should be coming. Other mails it should not show me. So let me go and see. Again, automation keyword in the subject line. So now depending on the density, another mail with automation keyword, another mail with the automation keyword. So now it is picking up only those mails which have the automation keyword anywhere in the subject line. So that is basically what we wanted. So we have been able to successfully ascertain that yes, the software is able to search for specific keywords in the subject line and then take some action, in this case throwing a message box on the screen. So that perfectly makes our things more easier for us. Now to make it run in the larger scope, you remember on day one we had talked about triggers. Earlier we have seen about email triggers also. Now email triggers are basically, as you already would know, is basically a mail coming in a mailbox, the software being able to detect the presence of a mail coming in the mailbox, and then shooting off a particular script. Now what we would like to do is that if a mail with a particular keyword in the subject line comes in, then it should fire a particular task. If we can give that capability to our email triggers, then it makes things very much easier and faster, and as I would say, more convenient for our stakeholders who may need to execute a script remotely from any XYZ location, and the box on which they want to execute the script on may be lying at some other location across the globe. All you have to do is create this trigger, keep it the machine which has the trigger and the task on top of it. They should be up, running, connected to the internet. All you need to do is shoot a mail in the mailbox with the required keyword in the subject line, and the relevant task gets fired. Makes things easier and simpler for all of us. So what we want to do is that as soon as the mail comes in our mailbox, it should go and fire this particular script that we are currently making. This script will then go and check for mails with automation keyword in the subject line or any other keyword in the subject line. If it finds a mail with that particular keyword in the subject line, then it should fire a relevant task. So that way we are giving our stakeholders the remote control capability of being able to execute a script from any location across the globe. That is basically what we are targeting to achieve. So this is the game plan. So let us logically think now that if I go back and look at my mailbox, I have mail with automation keyword today. I've made with automation keyword then on Feb 7 and earlier. Now let's say a mail came in right now with automation keyword. Does it sound logical that the software goes back and checks for mails even 10 days back with automation keyword in it and then executes some action on top of it? Obviously not. What you would rather like to do or rather like to have is it should restrict the search scope to mails which came in today's days max. If it finds a mail in today's date which matches our search criteria, or as in, if I may put it in other words, if it finds a mail in today's date with the specific keywords as per our specification, it should go and execute that relevant task. Otherwise, it should just exit the loop if it does not find any mail in today's date. Even if you look at the mails, the way they come in, you have mails in today's date, then day before, and before, and before, and before. So the minute the date is not matching, that means it has already gone in yesterday's date. So the day before it would be even before the day before yesterday, and so on and so forth. So no point going and checking all those mails. So now we want to restrict our search scope to mails which only came in today, matching our criteria. So what I will do is I am going to first of all go inside our variable manager. I will go inside show system variables, and I will look at the format of this date variable, excuse me. Why am I looking at the format of this date variable? Because I will be comparing the email received date variable, which gives me the date on which the mail came in, against this system date variable. Now, if this system date variable includes minutes and seconds also, then the comparison will happen on seconds or minutes level. And that, to get that as a success is very difficult. Let's say a mail came in right now, and even if our software detected the trigger and activated the trigger immediately, by the time the check condition would actually come and start get executed, couple of seconds would have still passed. So to get 100% success, on seconds is very difficult, because seconds happen very fast. Minutes are difficult, but still it's possible. Hours, more reliability. But I personally prefer to keep day as the smallest unit over here, because that, depending on your requirement, you may plan to use hours and minutes also, but I've already given you the limitations. So you must choose your format very carefully, because whatever is the lowest unit in your format, if it is seconds, then comparison will happen on seconds basis, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to choose the format with just day, so that comparison happens on day basis, and that is basically what we are looking at. So this is something that we need to ascertain before we proceed with the next action at hand. So what I will do is I am going to go inside if else variable. I'm going to drag and put another condition inside over here. And my condition will be, or our condition will be, if we have a variable email received date. I say if email received date is equal to today's date. If email received date is equal to today's date, then you go and do all these checking. So first it checks, is the mail on today's date? If yes, then only it will go and check for the email subject automation and things like that, and then do the processing. If the email date is not in today's date, then what happens? Then it should go in the else section, and it should just go and exit the loop. So it'll go inside loop, and we have the exit loop command. It'll just throw me out of the loop. This is basically what we want. So we have the loop running. It checks if email is in today's date. If it is in today's date, it will check further if the email subject includes automation. So if email subject also includes automation, then it will do the processing, in this case just a message box. If the email is not in today's date, it will just go in the else section and exit out the loop. This is what we want. So we don't even bother checking mails in yesterday's date and day before that. So that's basically the action. So what we will do now is, let me change this keyword to automation 2. So I will shoot some mail with the automation 2 keyword, so that we can check on that. And let me make one more box over here. So I'm going to say copy this, and maybe I'll paste this, or maybe we'll stick to email includes automation 2. Save this one. So start the loop, check if your email is in today's date. If it is in today's date, check if the email subject includes automation 2. If it includes that, we are just calling a message box over here. We will enhance this in a moment's time. What I will do is I will create another script over here, which I will name as automation 2. I will just go inside over here, put a message box, and here we are going to go and say automation 2 script. So we'll just put this over here. Fired automation 2 script fired. So we'll just go and put this and save it. Save this script, give it a name as automation 2. So we have created a script giving it a name as automation 2, and we will say if email subject includes automation 2, then we want to call this particular script. So if it includes automation 2, call automation 2. If it includes automation 3, call automation 3. So you can have multiple scripts getting executed based on the condition getting satisfied over here. So what I will do is I will go over here and I will put my run task command. So we go inside task, call a run task command over here following this message box. Here I'm going to browse and we are going to go inside demo and call the automation 2 script, and we are going to go and save it. So this is our objective now. So it will start churning through the mails. If it finds the mail in today's date, it will then only go and check if the email subject includes automation 2. If it does, it will show you the mail's contents and then call this secondary script. So based on specific keyword in the subject line, we can have specific scripts getting executed. That is what we want. So I'm going to go and save this one, and this script now we want should be triggered by our email message trigger. So what I'll do is I'll go inside email automation. This is our primary script, email automation. This should be triggered by a trigger action. So I'm going to say email message trigger, and same box as we have configured inside our script that we just made, the larger one. I say host IMAP, port number is 993, check every 1 minute. Username is I'm giving this Gmail ID. Password, let's give this password also. Just go and put it again. Server uses SSL and save it. So we have created an email message trigger, which will go and call the primary script, which will then do the checking, and once it finds a match, it will call the secondary script. So as you can see, this way we will be able to execute our specific scripts using this customized email trigger capability that we are trying to give to our software by means of the email automation command. And since this is a trigger, it will only get fired once a mail comes in. So I'll shoot a mail to myself to make it, run. And I'm going to say over here, so automation 2 keyword, and we're going to send it. So I should be receiving that. We have got that mail over here. And now we'll just give it a moment's time for the software to be able to detect the presence of that mail in the mailbox and then take the action on top of it. So this is basically what we're looking at. Giving it a moment's time to be able to detect the mail and shoot off. And let me just go and close this. Just waiting for detection of that particular of the mail that has just come in by the software, and reciprocal action should be the execution of this email automation script, which in turn should internally go and fire that automation 2 task over there. So this is by and large the game plan at hand. We are just waiting for the software to be able to detect the same and take off after it has been able to detect the mail with the specific keyword coming in. And you can see it has already started executing. It has been able to detect it, the email automation task firing. and you can see it is showing me the matching. So this is basically this line that's got fired. If email subject includes automation too, then you can see this email subject line getting fired, and then it should, after I click on this, it should go and then show you this message box. You click on it, you can see this message box getting fired in the second script. So it has been able to call the second script. It first showed me this message box, then it ran the task. This task led to the execution of the second script where we are seeing this message coming on the screen, and I click on it, and that brings us now to a closure. So this is precisely what we wanted, and we were able to go and achieve the same. So this is something about email automation. A quick recapitulation of what we just did. We created a script which checks if a mail is in today's date, after obviously connecting to the box at hand. If it is in today's date, it checks if it includes automation 2 as the subject line, and then once it's able to find that mail, it calls my subscript over here, task to be executed over here. This is what it is doing, and this script will be called by my trigger itself. So this is by and large, as you can see, we have given the capabilities to our email trigger to be able to fire specific scripts based on being able to detect mails with specific keyword in the subject line, which in our case is automation 2. So this way you can have customization, you can have remote control capability to fire off specific mails with specific keywords in the subject line, and that is precisely something that we wanted to showcase. So that was something about email automation. I hope we all were able to get a gist of what I wanted to put across. So until next time, thank you everybody.